I wanted nothing more than to celebrate my 68th birthday quietly at my favorite restaurant, the place Elena and I cherished for decades. But my own daughter called ahead and told them not to let me in, claiming I was unwell and confused. I stood humiliated in the foyer, ready to walk away forever, until a complete stranger stepped forward and whispered words that would shatter the lie and change my life forever. Welcome back to your ultimate destination for gripping revenge stories, family betrayals, shocking betrayals, and emotional justice. Subscribe now and join a community and tell us where you're watching from. Turn on the notification bell for our next story. Are you ready to witness the ultimate payback? Let's get started. I'm Mr. Zaha. I'm 68 years old man. As the rain tapped insistently against the tall windows of La Lumiere, turning the streetlights into smeared gold. I had chosen this restaurant deliberately, same corner table by the window where Elena and I marked every milestone. Anniversaries, promotions, the night Sophia was born. Tonight, on my 68th, I carried a single white lily stem wrapped in brown paper, a small ritual to honor her memory. My navy suit felt a touch too loose these days, but I stood straight, phone confirmation glowing in my hand. The maitre d', a polished man in his late 20s named Victor, met my eyes with professional regret. Mr. Zaha, I'm afraid there's no table available for you this evening. I slid the phone across the podium. I reserved 3 weeks ago. Table 12. Confirmation right here. He scanned it, tapped his tablet, then shook his head slowly. The reservation was canceled this afternoon, sir. By family, it seems. And we received a call from your daughter. She explained you're not entirely well, that you might become disoriented. For your safety, and ours, we can't seat you tonight. The words hit like cold water. Sophia, my only child, the one I'd raised alone after Elena's passing, putting her through college, walking her down the aisle, helping with the down payment on her first house. The one whose calls had grown sparse, whose visits rarer. Not well, I repeated, voice low. She said that. Victor shifted uncomfortably. She was concerned. Said you'd been forgetful. We have protocols. Couples glided past, laughing softly, glasses clinking. A family at the nearest table toasted something joyful. I felt the lily stem bend slightly in my tightening grip. Forgetful. Disoriented. The words echoed, turning the elegant foyer into a cage that I turned toward the exit. Rain louder now. Chest tight with a mix of shame and slow-burning anger. What kind of daughter paints her father as frail to strangers? Then the voice. Calm, measured, close enough to cut through the hum. Mr. Zaha, a man in a simple gray coat stood just inside the door, holding the hand of a girl no older than 8. Her raincoat was bright yellow, hood still up, dripping softly. He had the quiet bearing of someone who'd weathered storms of his own. I overheard, he said, voice pitched low. If you'll allow it, my daughter and I have a table for 3. Join us. No one should face a birthday like this alone. I studied him. No pity in his eyes, just steady decency. The girl peeked up, offering a shy smile. I'm Lily, she said. Daddy says nobody eats birthday dinner by themselves. It's against the rules. My throat worked. Pride screamed to refuse. But something in her small certainty cracked the wall I'd built that I nodded once. They led me to a quiet booth near the back, away from the main floor's bustle. Lily immediately pushed a coloring book toward me. You can color the cake page. For your birthday. Marcus, his name, ordered modestly. Grilled chicken for him, mac and cheese for Lily, the salmon special for me. As plates arrived, conversation unfolded gently. He was a mechanic, widowed for years, raising Lily on his own. Long shifts, tight budgets, but tonight was her treat. She'd saved allowance coins for weeks. I shared fragments. Elena's laugh, Sophia's childhood drawings still taped in my study, the growing silence between us. Marcus listened without judgment. When I paused, he leaned forward slightly. I know what it's like when family drifts, or worse, when they rewrite you. He glanced at Lily, who was carefully cutting her food. But sometimes truth shows up in unexpected places. Lily looked up suddenly. Daddy heard the man say you're not confused. You're just sad about your wife. And it's your birthday. So we have to fix that. Marcus smiled faintly. She's right about the birthday part. Then he lowered his voice further, eyes locking on mine. There's more, Mr. Zaha. When Victor mentioned your daughter, the name clicked. Sophia Zaha. My sister-in-law works reception at the senior center you used to volunteer at. She told me stories about a man named Zaha who quietly funded scholarships for kids like me, kids from single-parent homes. No fanfare, just help when it mattered most. My late wife, she was one of those kids. She always said if she ever met that man, she'd thank him for giving her the chance to become a nurse. She passed before she could. The room tilted. I remembered those anonymous donations, small checks, recommendations. Never for credit. Marcus continued softly. I think I'm here tonight to say it for her. Thank you. And I think your daughter might not know the full measure of the man she's trying to hide away. The maitre d' passed our table, avoiding eye contact. The earlier humiliation shrank against this unexpected bridge that we finished dinner slowly. Lily insisted on sharing her dessert, a small chocolate tart, and sang happy birthday in a whispery voice that made the candle flame dance. When the check came, I reached first. Marcus protested quietly. This was our invitation. For the memory of your wife, I said, and for Lily's rules. He accepted with a nod. Outside, rain had eased to mist. Lily hugged my leg fiercely. Come again soon? We can be your family tonight, and maybe more. Marcus handed me a card, his number scrawled on the back. Call if you need anything, or just want company. I drove home through wet streets, mind spinning. Betrayed by blood. Lifted by strangers. The next morning, I stared at my phone. No missed calls from Sophia, but I had Marcus's number, and a growing certainty. The truth wouldn't stay buried. Cliffhanger. My daughter had lied to erase me from my own birthday. But a stranger's whisper had just lit the fuse on everything she tried to hide. If your own family ever turned their back on you when you needed them most, drop one word in the comments. Betrayed or forgiven. The rain had stopped by morning, leaving the city streets glossy and reflective under a pale February sun. I sat at my kitchen table, the same oak one Elena and I had bought in 1987, with Marcus's card placed carefully beside my coffee mug. The number stared back at me like an invitation I wasn't sure I deserved. Sophia's text from yesterday still glowed on my phone screen. I canceled your reservation, Dad. I thought if you had nowhere to go, you'd finally reach out to me. I was wrong. I'm sorry. No call. No explanation beyond those few lines. Just silence after the confession that I dialed her number anyway. It rang 4 times before going to voicemail. Her voice bright and professional, the one she used for clients. Sophia, it's Dad. I got your message. We need to talk. Not text. Call me when you can. I set the phone down. The house felt larger than usual. Every tick of the wall clock louder. Photos lined the hallway. Elena laughing on our honeymoon. Sophia at 5 wearing my old fedora. Sophia at 22 in her graduation cap. The last family photo was from 3 Christmases ago. Her smile tight, mine hopeful. After that, holidays became phone calls that lasted under 10 minutes. An hour passed. Then 2. When the phone finally rang. The name on the screen made my pulse jump. Dad? Her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. Sophia. A long pause. Breathing. Then, I didn't mean for it to go like that. I panicked. I kept my tone even. You told them I was confused. Unwell. That I might cause a scene. You made them think I was senile, Sophia. I know. Her words cracked. I thought if they turned you away, you'd have to call me. That you'd need me for once. Instead of always being the one who's fine. Always the strong one. I wanted you to need me. The kitchen blurred for a second. I pressed my palm against the cool table. I've needed you for years, I said quietly. Every birthday since your mother died. Every quiet evening when the house echoes. I never said it because I didn't want to burden you. You have your life, your career, your friends. I thought respecting your space was love. Silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Then she whispered, I've been lying to myself. Telling myself you didn't want me around. That you preferred being alone. It was easier than admitting I was the one pulling away. Why? Another pause. Because every time I see you, I see Mom. And it hurts too much. You look at me like she used to. Like I'm still the little girl who could do no wrong. But I'm not. I've made mistakes. Big ones. And I'm scared if I let you close again, you'll see how far I've fallen. I close my eyes. What mistakes, Sophia? A shaky inhale. The marriage, it ended badly. He left. Took half the savings. I'm barely keeping the house. I've been working double shifts just to stay afloat. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. Or worse, offer to help. I wanted to prove I could handle it. Like you always did. The pieces clicked into place. The short calls. The canceled visits. The distance. You thought turning me away at La Lumiere would force me to see you? I asked. I thought it would force you to reach out first, so I could feel needed. Instead, I just humiliated you. I'm so sorry, Dad. I let the words settle. Anger was there, sharp and real, but beneath it something heavier. Grief. For her. For us, I'm not angry, I said finally. I'm hurt, but mostly I'm sad we let it get this far. She started crying then, soft, broken sounds that traveled through the line and lodged in my chest. I want to fix it, she said. Can I come see you? This weekend. I pictured her standing on my doorstep, the way she used to when she was small and the world felt too big. Yes, I told her. Come home. We talked for another 40 minutes. Halting, honest. She told me about the divorce papers still unsigned on her kitchen counter, the nights she cried herself to sleep, the fear that asking for help would make her a failure in my eyes. I told her about the stranger at the restaurant, about Marcus and Lily, about the whisper that reminded me kindness still existed in the world. When we hung up, the house didn't feel quite so empty, but the story wasn't finished. That afternoon I called Marcus. He answered on the second ring. Mr. Zaha. Marcus. It's me. I wanted to thank you again. Properly. No need. Lily's been asking about her new grandpa every day. I smiled despite myself. I'd like to see her. Both of you. If that's all right. He hesitated only a moment. We'd like that. How about Saturday? Park near my place? Lily loves the swings. Saturday. I agreed. The days between felt both long and short. Saturday arrived crisp and clear. I drove to the small neighborhood park. Playground equipment faded but sturdy, benches worn smooth by years of parents. Marcus and Lily were already there. She spotted me first and ran over, yellow rain boots splashing through leftover puddles. Grandpa's ah. She threw her arms around my legs. I knelt, hugged her carefully, breathing in the scent of strawberry shampoo and fresh air. Marcus approached more slowly, hands in his pockets. She's been practicing that hug all week. We sat on a bench while Lily raced to the swings. Marcus watched her with the quiet pride of a man who'd carried too much alone. You talked to your daughter? He asked, and I nodded. She's coming tomorrow. We're trying. Good. He looked at me sideways. She's lucky to have you. Even if she forgot for a while. I turned the conversation. Your wife, the nurse. What was her name? Clara. His voice softened. She worked pediatric oncology. Said your scholarship let her finish school debt-free. She paid it forward every day she could. I stared at the ground. I never knew her name. Never knew any of their names, really. I just signed checks. Marcus chuckled quietly. That's the point, isn't it? You didn't need to know. Lily called us over then, demanding pushes on the swing. I took one side, Marcus the other. Her laughter rang out, pure, unburdened. For a moment, the weight of the past week lifted. When the sun began to dip, we walked back to the parking lot. Lily held both our hands, swinging between us to AT my car. Marcus stopped me. One more thing, he said. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small envelope. This was Clara's. She kept it in her jewelry box. I found it after she passed. I opened it carefully. Inside was a faded thank you card, handwritten, dated 15 years earlier. Dear Mr. Zaha, you don't know me, but your kindness changed my life. Because of you I became a nurse. I help children now. Children who are scared and hurting. Every time I hold a small hand, I think of the stranger who believed in me when no one else did. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, Clara Evans, below her signature, in smaller script. If you ever read this, know that goodness doesn't disappear. It grows. My vision blurred. I folded the card back into the envelope, hands unsteady. Marcus placed a hand on my shoulder. She wanted you to have it. I think tonight was the night it was supposed to reach you. I looked at him, really looked. A man who'd lost his wife, raised his daughter alone, and still chose kindness when he saw someone hurting. Thank you, I managed. For more than the table. He smiled. See you soon, Mr. Zaha. Lily waved from the car window as they drove away. Bye, Grandpa. I stood there long after their taillights disappeared, card pressed against my chest. Tomorrow Sophia would arrive, and tomorrow I would show her this card. Not to shame her, not for revenge, to remind her, and myself, that even when family fractures, goodness can still find its way back, but the real reckoning was coming. Because Sophia didn't know yet that I'd kept every unanswered text, every missed birthday call. That I'd quietly paid her utility bills twice last winter when the shut-off notices arrived in my mailbox by mistake. She thought she was the only one hiding things. She was wrong. Cliffhanger. Tomorrow my daughter would walk through my door expecting forgiveness. But she had no idea how deep the secrets ran, or how one small card was about to force us both to face the truth we'd buried for years. If someone you love ever hid pain from you out of pride or fear, drop secrets or truth in the comments below. Which one hurts more? Sunday morning arrived with a soft gray light filtering through the kitchen curtains. I had barely slept. The thank you card from Clara Evans lay open on the table beside my untouched coffee, its edges curling slightly from years folded away. Every time I looked at it, the handwriting, careful, grateful, reminded me that small acts echo longer than we ever intend. That I had rehearsed nothing. No speech. No list of grievances. Only the truth, whatever shape it took. When Sophia walked through the door at 11:17 a.m., the doorbell rang. 2 quick presses, the way she always did as a teenager coming home late from a friend's house. I opened the door. She stood on the porch in a charcoal coat too thin for February, hair pulled back severely, eyes red-rimmed and uncertain. No makeup, no armor. Just my daughter, 38 years old and looking suddenly much younger. Dad. Sophia. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, the way she used to when the world felt safe. The door clicked shut behind her. For a long moment neither of us moved. Then she saw the card on the table. What's that? I didn't answer right away. I walked to the kitchen, poured her a mug of coffee, black, 2 sugars, the way she'd liked it since college, and set it down across from me. Sit. She did. Hands wrapped around the mug like it was a lifeline. I slid the envelope toward her. Read it. She opened it slowly. Her eyes moved over Clara's words once, twice. When she reached the bottom, her fingers tightened on the paper. Who? Who is Clara? Someone I helped a long time ago. Paid for her nursing school. Never met her. Never expected anything back. I paused. Her husband, widower now, bought me dinner the night you made sure I had nowhere to sit. Sophia's gaze snapped up. The single father? The one you told me about on the phone. I nodded. Marcus. His daughter Lily called me grandpa within 10 minutes of meeting me. His late wife Clara. She became a pediatric oncology nurse because of one quiet check I wrote 15 years ago. She never forgot. Neither did he. Silence settled heavy between us. Sophia stared at the card as though it might burn her. So you're telling me that while I was canceling your reservation and lying to a restaurant staff about you being confused, a stranger was thanking you for changing his family's entire future? Yes. Her shoulders began to shake. Not sobs yet. Just tremors, the kind that come right before something breaks open. I thought, her voice cracked. I thought you didn't need anyone. That you were always fine. That I was the only one falling apart. So I pushed. Harder. To prove. I don't know. That I mattered. You always mattered, I said quietly. Even when you stopped calling. Even when Christmas cards replaced visits. Even when you decided I was too old, too forgetful, too inconvenient to be allowed into La Lumiere on my own birthday. Each word landed like a small stone dropped into still water. Ripples spread across her face. She set the card down carefully, as though it were made of glass. I kept the shut-off notices. I continued. Your electric bill. Water. They came to my address by mistake last winter. Your old apartment forwarding still linked to mine. I paid them. Twice. Quietly. Because that's what parents do. Even when their children pretend they don't need them. Her head jerked up. You paid my bills. $78.41 one month. $112 the next. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to feel small. I just wanted you warm. Lights on. Safe. Tears spilled now, silent, fast. She pressed both hands to her mouth. Why didn't you say anything? Because you were trying so hard to prove you didn't need me. I thought if I pushed back, even with kindness, you'd run farther. She laughed once, a broken sound. I ran anyway. Yes. We sat in that kitchen for what felt like hours, though the clock showed only 23 minutes had passed. Coffee cooled untouched. The lily I'd bought for my birthday still sat in a glass on the windowsill, petals beginning to brown at the edges. Finally she spoke, voice raw. I lied to the restaurant because I was terrified. Terrified you'd see how badly I've failed. Divorce wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was realizing I'd become someone who would hurt her own father just to feel seen. I canceled your table thinking it would force you to call me first. Force you to need me. Instead, I proved exactly what I was afraid of, that I'm not worth needing. I reached across the table. My hand covered hers. Cold fingers. Trembling. You're still my daughter, I said. That never stopped being true. Not for 1 second. She turned her hand palm up and laced her fingers through mine, the way she used to when she was 6 and scared of thunderstorms. I don't deserve forgiveness, she whispered. Maybe not yet, I answered. But you're here. That's the first step. We talked until the gray light turned gold, then dimmed again. She told me everything. The lawyer fees eating her savings, the nights she drove past my street but couldn't bring herself to stop, the guilt that kept her silent longer each time. I told her about the loneliness that had settled in after Elena died, how I'd filled it with small kindnesses to strangers because it was easier than asking my own child for connection. Around dusk, my phone buzzed on the counter at a text from Marcus. Lily drew you a picture. Stick figure grandpa with a big smile and lots of hair, she insisted. Can we drop it by tomorrow after school? I showed Sophia the message. She read it. A small, surprised smile broke through the tears. She called you grandpa? Within minutes. Sophia looked down at our joined hands. I haven't called you anything in years except dad on the rare phone call. I think I forgot how to be someone's daughter. You never forgot, I said. You just got scared of the role. She exhaled shakily. Can I meet them? Marcus and Lily. I considered it. Yes, but not yet. First we finish this, us. She nodded. That night she didn't leave. She stayed in her old room. Sheets still faintly scented with the lavender detergent Elena used to buy. I heard her crying softly through the wall around 2 in the morning. I didn't go to her. Some grief needs to be carried alone for a while. Monday morning she made breakfast, burnt toast, and scrambled eggs the way I like them, too salty. We ate in near silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was careful, healing. After breakfast she asked, what happens now? Now, I said, we rebuild. Slowly. No more secrets. No more canceling tables. No more hiding bills. If you need help, you ask. If I need company, I say it. Deal. Deal. She left that afternoon with a promise to call every evening at 7. No excuses. No short calls. Real conversation. I watched her car disappear down the street, then went back inside and picked up Clara's card again. The phone rang at 6:58 p.m. Hi, Dad. Hi, sweetheart. We talked for 47 minutes. About nothing and everything. She laughed once, genuine surprised. I felt the sound travel straight into the hollow place that had lived in my chest for years. Tuesday afternoon, Marcus and Lily arrived. Lily burst through the door, holding a rolled-up piece of construction paper. Grandpa Zaha, I made you. The drawing showed 4 stick figures, a tall one labeled Daddy, a small one with pigtails labeled me, an old one with lots of hair labeled Grandpa, and new, a woman with long hair labeled Aunt Sophia. I looked at Marcus. He shrugged, smiling faintly. She asked if you had a daughter. I said yes. She decided the family needed one more person. Sophia, who had arrived 10 minutes earlier at my invitation, stood frozen in the hallway. Lily spotted her immediately. Are you Aunt Sophia? Sophia knelt slowly. I think I am. If that's okay with you. Lily studied her for a long second, then thrust the drawing forward. You can be in the picture now, but you have to smile bigger than Grandpa. He smiles small sometimes. Sophia laughed, shaky, tear-filled. I'll practice. Marcus watched the exchange with quiet eyes. When Lily ran off to explore the living room, he spoke low. She's been asking about the sad Grandpa's daughter since I told her you were coming today. I swallowed. Thank you for bringing them. He shook his head. Thank you for letting us in. We sat in the living room, awkward at first, then easier. Sophia asked Marcus about Clara. He answered without flinching. Lily climbed onto my lap and demanded I read her the drawing like a story. Sophia watched us, eyes shining. When they left, Lily hugged Sophia too, quick, fierce. Don't be sad anymore, okay? We have enough hugs for everybody. Sophia knelt again. I won't. Promise. After the door closed, Sophia turned to me. I almost didn't come today. I was scared they'd hate me, that I'd ruined everything. They don't hate you, I said. They don't even know the story yet. And when they do, they'll still be here. Because that's what family does when it's real. She stayed for dinner. We ordered takeout, Chinese, the way we used to on Sunday nights when she was in high school. We ate on the couch, feet up, laughing at nothing. For the first time in years, the house felt full instead of haunted, but tension still simmered beneath the surface, because forgiveness isn't instant. It's layered, and some layers cut deeper before they heal. That night, after Sophia left, I found a small envelope slipped under the door, her handwriting on the front. Inside, a check. The exact amount I'd paid on her utility bills last winter. Plus interest. A note. Dad, I'm paying you back. Not because I want to erase what you did, but because I want to start fresh. No more secrets. No more debt, real or emotional. I love you. Always have. Just forgot how to show it. Sophia. I sat on the couch holding the check and the note until the streetlights came on. The wounds were still there, raw, tender, but they were breathing now. Air was getting in, and somewhere in that breathing, healing had already begun. Sophia had paid back the money and promised no more secrets. But the next morning, a registered letter arrived from her ex-husband's lawyer, demanding half the value of the house she could barely afford, and naming me as a potential co-signer from years ago. If I didn't step in, she would lose everything. And the choice was now mine. Protect her silently again, or force her to face the full cost of her pride. When someone you love finally says they're sorry, but the damage keeps coming, do you shield them one more time, or make them feel the weight? Drop, shield, or wait in the comments. Your answers keep this channel alive. The registered letter arrived at 9:42 a.m. on Wednesday, exactly 3 days after Sophia's tearful breakfast and the stick figure family portrait now taped to my refrigerator. The envelope was thick cream stock, the kind lawyers use when they want to look important. Return address: Hargrove, Patel and Associates. I recognized the firm immediately. Sophia had mentioned them once, in passing, during one of our rare phone calls 2 years ago. They're handling the divorce, she'd said, voice flat. I hadn't pressed. I carried the envelope to the kitchen table without opening it. Clara's thank you card still sat there like a quiet witness. I sliced the flap with a butter knife, pulled out the contents. 3 pages. Cover letter first. Dear Mr. Adujo Zaha, we represent Mr. Daniel Hargrove in matters pertaining to the dissolution of his marriage to Sophia Zaha. Enclosed, please find a formal demand for equitable distribution of marital assets, specifically the real property located at 1427 Maple Lane, which was purchased during the marriage. As you are aware, you co-signed the mortgage note in 2018 as a guarantor to assist your daughter in securing favorable loan terms. Pursuant to the terms of said note and applicable state law, you remain jointly and severally liable for any deficiency should the property be foreclosed or sold at a loss. Our client demands that Ms. Zaha either refinance the mortgage in her sole name within 60 days, removing you as guarantor, or sell the property and remit 50% of net proceeds to Mr. Hargrove. Failure to comply will result in immediate legal action, including but not limited to a petition to enforce the guarantee against you personally. That we have attempted to resolve this amicably through Ms. Zaha's counsel. She has been unresponsive. We now turn to you as the only remaining party with capacity to satisfy this obligation. A proposed settlement agreement is enclosed for your review. Execution by all parties would resolve this matter without further litigation. Respectfully, Evelyn Patel. Hargrove, Patel and Associates. I read it twice. Then the attached mortgage documents, yellowed copies, my signature bold and certain at the bottom of page 7. I remembered that day clearly. Sophia had been so excited about the house, 3 bedrooms, a small yard, walking distance to the elementary school she dreamed her future children would attend. Daniel had been charming then, hand on her back, promising forever. I'd co-signed without hesitation. Parents do that. Now forever had a price tag, roughly $240,000 remaining on the principal. Half would be $120,000, plus legal fees, penalties if for sale. My savings, modest pension, Elena's life insurance, the house I'd paid off 20 years ago, might cover it if liquidated. But it would leave me with almost nothing. Renting, downsizing, the end of independence I'd guarded so carefully. Sophia didn't know I still carried the liability. I'd never told her the cosign stayed active after the divorce filing. Why would I? I assumed Daniel would be reasonable. I assumed she'd refinance when the dust settled. Assumptions are dangerous when pride is involved. That I sat for a long time staring at the pages. The kitchen clock ticked. Outside, a neighbor's dog barked once, sharp and lonely. 18 noon, I called Sophia. She answered on the first ring. Dad? Everything okay? I received a letter from Hargrove, Patel. Silence. Then a small, indrawn breath. Oh God. They're coming after the house. And me. As guarantor. I know, she whispered. Daniel's lawyer called last week. I ignored it. I thought if I didn't answer, it would go away. Or that I could figure it out before it reached you. It reached me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I closed my eyes. How much equity is in the house? Almost none. We bought at the peak before the market dipped. Appraisal last month came in at $380,000. Mortgage is $240,000. After commissions and fees, maybe $80,000 total if we sell. Split would be $40,000 each. But I can't afford to move. I can't afford anything. And if you don't sell, they foreclose. Daniel gets nothing, but he doesn't care. He just wants to hurt me. And now you. The line crackled with her breathing. I can pay it, I said quietly. The deficiency, if it comes to that. No, her voice sharpened. Dad, no. You can't. That's your retirement. Your safety. I won't let you. You don't get to decide that anymore. I'm deciding now. I created this mess. I'll fix it. How? I'll sell. I'll move into an apartment. I'll get a second job. Whatever it takes. And Daniel gets half of what little is left. Yes. And you lose the house you fought so hard to keep. A long pause. Yes. I looked at Clara's card again. The word swam. Goodness doesn't disappear. It grows. I have another option, I said. What? I pay Daniel directly. Full half share he's demanding. $120,000. In exchange, he signs a quitclaim deed transferring his interest to you. You refinance in your name only. I'm released from the guarantee. You keep the house. Sophia's voice broke. Dad, that's everything you have. Not everything. The house is paid off. I can take a reverse mortgage if I need cash later. Or sell if it comes to that. But you'd have stability. A place to rebuild. I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. Why? Because I'm tired of secrets. Tired of watching you drown, because you're too proud to take a hand. And because I swallowed. Because when Marcus whispered those words in the restaurant foyer, it reminded me that one small act can ripple for decades. Clara became a nurse. Lily has a grandpa now. And you're my daughter. If I can give you one solid thing to stand on, I will. She was crying openly now. I don't deserve it. Maybe not today, but tomorrow you might. And the day after. And the day after that. Silence stretched again, longer this time. I need to think, she said finally. Can I call you tonight? Of course. We hung up. The afternoon passed in slow motion. I walked to the park where Marcus and Lily had pushed swings. Sat on the same bench. Watched other parents, other children. A grandfather chased a toddler across the grass, laughing. I felt both envy and strange peace. At 7:02 p.m. the phone rang. Dad. Sophia. I talked to my lawyer. She says your offer is viable. Daniel's lawyer is greedy, but not stupid. He'll take cash over a drawn-out fight. Good. But I have conditions. I waited. First, you don't pay the full $120,000. We split it. I take a home equity line of credit for $60,000. You cover the other $60,000. That way I'm not just taking. I'm investing in my own future. Acceptable. Second, no more silent rescues. If there's ever another bill, another crisis, another anything, I tell you. You tell me. No hiding. No protecting. We face it together. Agreed. Third, her voice softened. We go back to La Lumiere. All of us. You, me, Marcus, Lily. One table. One celebration. No cancellations. No lies. Just family. I smiled for the first time all day. I'd like that very much. She exhaled. Then it settled. I'll call Daniel's lawyer tomorrow. We'll draft the agreement. Sophia? Yes. I'm proud of you. A small, surprised laugh. I'm trying to be someone you can be proud of again. You already are. We talked another hour. Details, timelines, small jokes that eased the weight. When we hung up, I felt lighter than I had in years. But the choice wasn't fully made yet. The next morning I called Marcus. He answered cheerfully. Mr. Zaha. Lily's asking when Grandpa's coming for pancakes. Soon, I said. But first, I need your advice. I told him everything. The letter, the demand, Sophia's counteroffer, the $60,000 I'd be wiring from my savings. That he listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet a long moment. You're giving her half your security so she can keep hers? Yes. And you're asking me if I'm a fool? Another pause. You're not a fool. You're a father. And fathers don't keep score. But the money comes back. Families don't always. I swallowed. She's trying. Really trying. Then let her. But don't disappear into the background again. Stay in the picture. Be the grandpa Lily drew. Be the dad Sophia needs. That's worth more than any bank account. I nodded even though he couldn't see me. Thank you, Marcus. Anytime. And Mr. Zaha. Yes. Bring Sophia to pancakes this weekend. Lily's been practicing her Aunt Sophia hug. I laughed. We'll be there. Friday afternoon, the settlement papers arrived by courier. I signed where indicated. Sophia's lawyer had already countersigned. Daniel's signature came through email attachment at 4:17 p.m., grudging, but final. Monday morning the wire transfer cleared. $60,000 from my account. Sophia handled her half through the equity line. The quitclaim was recorded by noon. The guarantee released. I stared at the confirmation email until the screen dimmed. The IT was done. That evening Sophia arrived at my door with takeout bags. Chinese again. We ate on the couch like old times. After dinner, she pulled an envelope from her purse. Inside, 2 tickets. La Lumiere. Saturday night. Table 12. Reservation for 4. I called Victor myself, she said. Told him the full story. He apologized again. Said the table's ours. No questions. I touched the tickets. 4. Marcus and Lily too. If they'll come. I texted Marcus immediately. His reply, Lily says yes in all caps. We'll be there. Saturday night arrived clear and cool. I wore the navy suit again. Pressed, shoulders still a little loose, but I stood straighter now. Sophia picked me up at 6:30. She wore a simple black dress, hair down, nervous smile. You look beautiful, I told her. You look like my dad, she answered. The real one. We drove in quiet companionship, at La Lumiere. Victor met us at the door. No tablet this time. Just a genuine nod. Mr. Zaha. Ms. Zaha. Your table is ready. He led us through the dining room. Heads turned slightly. Curious, not mocking. Marcus and Lily were already seated. Lily jumped up when she saw us. Grandpa? Aunt Sophia. Hugs all around. Lily clung to Sophia longest. You're taller in person, she declared. Sophia laughed. I hope that's good. It is. We sat. Table 12. Window view. City lights glittering like they always had. Victor brought menus. No rush. No judgment. We ordered salmon for me, steak for Marcus, pasta for Lily, risotto for Sophia. Conversation flowed easy. Lily told stories about school. Marcus talked about a funny customer at the garage. Sophia shared a memory of Elena teaching her to make pancakes. I listened more than I spoke, letting their voices fill the space that had been empty so long. Halfway through the meal, Sophia reached for my hand under the table. Dad, she said softly. Thank you. I squeezed back. We're here now. Lily piped up. Can we have cake? For real birthday this time. Victor appeared as if summoned, carrying a small chocolate cake with one candle. On the house, he said quietly. For second chances. We sang, off-key laughing. Lily blew out the candle for me. Make a wish, Grandpa. I closed my eyes. I wished for more nights like this. More hands held. More truths told. More forgiveness given and received. When I opened them, for faces looked back at me, smiling, real, here. After dessert, Marcus leaned forward. Mr. Z, I've been thinking. Clara always said goodness grows when you plant it close to home. You planted it years ago. Now it's coming back. I looked around the table. It already has. Sophia raised her water glass. To family, she said. The one we're born into, the one we find, and the one we choose to rebuild. We clinked glasses, Lily giggled. And to Grandpa's big hair in the picture. Laughter rippled. Outside, the city moved on. Cars, lights, strangers passing. Inside table 12, something had finally settled. Not perfect. Not without scars, but whole. The maitre d' who once turned me away now nodded respectfully as we left. Victor shook my hand at the door. Next time, sir, the table is always yours. I smiled. Next time, we'll need 5 chairs. He understood that we stepped into the night air, cool, clean, full of possibility. Sophia linked her arm through mine. Marcus carried a sleepy Lily on his shoulders that we walked to the parking lot together. No one spoke for a moment. Then Sophia said, "Same time next week." Marcus grinned. Lily already booked it. I looked up at the stars, faint against city glow, but there, redemption doesn't arrive in thunder, it arrives in whispers that in small cards kept for years, in daughters who finally say I'm sorry, that in strangers who offer a table, that in fathers who choose love over pride, that in families remade one honest night at a time. We thought the story ended with cake and forgiveness. But 2 weeks later, a small package arrived at my door, no return address. Inside, a single photograph of Elena holding a newborn Sophia, and on the back, in Daniel's handwriting, "She never told you the whole truth about why I left. Ask her about the night she came to me crying, before the divorce, before the lies. Some secrets don't die with forgiveness. They wait. When forgiveness feels complete, but one last shadow refuses to leave, do you dig for the full truth, or let the past stay buried? Drop, dig, or bury in the comments below. Your choices shape these stories." The package sat on my kitchen counter for 2 full days before I touched it again. Plain brown paper, no stamps, hand-delivered. Someone had slipped it through the mail slot while I was at the park with Lily and Marcus on Sunday afternoon. No return address. Just my name in neat block letters. Mr. Zaha. Inside, the photograph. Elena in the hospital bed, exhausted but radiant, cradling newborn Sophia wrapped in a pink blanket. Elena's eyes were half closed, lips curved in that soft smile she saved only for moments too precious for words. On the back, in Daniel's tight, slanted handwriting, "She never told you the whole truth about why I left. Ask her about the night she came to me crying, before the divorce, before the lies. Some secrets don't die with forgiveness. They wait." I turned the photo over and over, as if the image might change if I stared long enough. Elena looked so young. Sophia so small. The date stamped on the back, March 17th, 1988. Sophia's birth month, that I didn't call Sophia immediately. I needed time to breathe, to decide whether this was poison meant to fracture what we'd only just begun to mend, or whether it was, somehow, truth that had been waiting too long. That night I slept poorly. Dreams of Elena standing in the doorway of La Lumiere, shaking her head slowly. "Don't let old shadows steal new light, love." Monday morning I texted Sophia, "Can you come over after work? We need to talk. Bring nothing, just yourself." Her reply came within minutes. "I'll be there at 6. Is everything okay?" I typed, deleted, typed again. "We'll talk when you get here." She arrived at 5:58, coat still on, keys jingling in her hand like nervous bells. She saw the package on the table immediately, the torn paper, the photograph lying face up, her face drained of color. "Where did you get that?" "Someone left it Saturday. No name. Daniel's writing on the back." She didn't move closer, just stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself. "Read it," I said quietly. She stepped forward like the floor might give way, picked up the photo, turned it. "Read the message." Her breathing changed, short, shallow. Then she set it down very carefully, as though it might explode. "I knew this would come someday," she whispered. "I just hoped. I hoped we'd have more time before it did." "Time for what, Sophia?" She looked at me, really looked. Eyes wide, terrified, but no longer hiding. "The night I came to Daniel crying, it was 3 months before he filed for divorce. I told you it was sudden, that he just left one day. That wasn't the full story." She pulled out a chair. "Saturday." Hands folded on the table like she was bracing for impact. "I was pregnant." The words landed soft, then heavy, then impossible. "Pregnant?" She nodded once. 8 weeks. I found out the week before Christmas. I was going to tell you first, surprise you on New Year's. But I told Daniel that night instead. He didn't take it well. She stared at her hands. He said he wasn't ready. That we'd rushed everything. Marriage, house, life. That a baby would trap him. He asked me to end it. I said no. We fought. Badly. I left. Came home to you the next day pretending everything was fine. But it wasn't. He moved out 2 weeks later. Said he needed space. Then the papers came. I felt the room tilt. You lost the baby? Miscarried at 11 weeks. Alone. In the bathroom of our house. I didn't call anyone. Not you. Not him. I just cleaned it up. Went to work the next day. Pretended it never happened. Tears slipped down her cheeks, silent. I was ashamed. Ashamed I couldn't keep the baby. Ashamed I'd married someone who'd asked me to get rid of it. Ashamed I hadn't told you sooner. So I buried it. Deep. When the divorce came, I let everyone think it was just irreconcilable differences. Easier that way. I reached across the table. Took her hand. Cold. Shaking. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have fixed it. You always fix things. Paid bills. Co-signed loans. Helped strangers become nurses. I didn't want to be another thing you had to fix. I wanted to be strong. Like you. But you weren't alone. You never had to be. I know that now. Her voice cracked. But then, I was drowning in guilt. Every time I looked at you, I saw the grandfather I'd robbed you of. Every time you asked how I was, I heard, why didn't you tell me, in my head. So I pulled away. Further. Until pulling away felt normal. I looked at the photograph again. Elena's smile. Sophia, tiny and perfect. Did Daniel know about the miscarriage? Yes. I told him. He said he was sorry. But he didn't come back. He moved on. Fast. New girlfriend within months. New life. When the divorce finalized, he never mentioned the baby again. Like it never existed. And now he sends this. To hurt me, she said simply. To remind me I failed. To make sure you see me as broken too. So maybe you'd stop forgiving. Stop helping. I exhaled slowly. He doesn't know me very well. Sophia looked up. I stood. Walked to the drawer where I kept old letters, photos, Elena's things. Pulled out a small velvet box I hadn't opened in years. Inside, a tiny gold bracelet. The one Elena had bought the day Sophia was born. For our granddaughter someday, she'd said, tucking it away. Or grandson. Whoever comes first. I placed it on the table between us. Elena bought this before she knew if you'd have children. She believed you would. She believed in you. Even on days you didn't believe in yourself. Sophia touched the bracelet with one finger. Tears fell onto the table. I lost her baby, she whispered. And I almost lost you. But you didn't. I sat again. Closer this time. You're not broken, Sophia. You're human. You hurt. You hid. You survived. And now you're here. Telling the truth. That's not failure. That's courage. She looked at me, searching. I want to be part of this family again, she said. The real one. Not the pretend everything's fine version. The messy one. The one with grief and mistakes and second chances. Then be part of it. How? Start small. Come to dinner tomorrow. Marcus is making lasagna. Lily insists on garlic bread shaped like hearts. She drew place cards already. Grandpa, Aunt Sophia, Daddy me. Sophia gave a watery laugh. She's bossy. She gets it from her grandpa. We sat in silence a while. Not heavy. Just present. Finally she spoke. What do we do about Daniel? Nothing. Nothing. He sent a photograph and a note. Cruel, yes. But it's all he has left. Old pain he can weaponize. We don't have to pick it up. We can let it sit there. Let it fade. But what if he sends more? Then we face it. Together. No more secrets. No more solo carrying. She nodded slowly. Okay. I reached for the bracelet. Slipped it onto her wrist. The tiny links caught the light. Elena would have loved seeing this on you. Sophia turned her wrist. The gold gleamed. I'll wear it every day. Good. We talked late. About the baby she'd lost. The name she'd secretly chosen. Elena Grace. The nursery she'd painted pale yellow before everything fell apart. She cried. I cried. We laughed once, when she admitted she'd kept the ultrasound photo in a shoebox under her bed all these years. Around midnight, she stood to leave. Tomorrow at Marcus's? 6. 6 sharp. She hugged me at the door. Long, fierce. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. She left. The house settled quiet again, but not empty. The next evening we arrived at Marcus's small duplex together, Sophia and I. She carried a bakery box, chocolate cake. For Lily's heart-shaped bread, she explained. Marcus opened the door. Lily launched herself at us. Aunt Sophia, you brought cake. Sophia knelt. And a hug. Which do you want first? Hug. Then cake. We ate lasagna around a small dining table squeezed into the living room. Garlic bread hearts. Laughter. Lily insisted Sophia sit next to her. After dinner, Lily dragged us all to the backyard. A single string of fairy lights hung across the fence. She'd set up a blanket with pillows. Story time, she announced. Grandpa tells the best ones. I sat on the blanket. Sophia beside me. Marcus across. Lily in the middle. I told them about Elena. How she danced in the kitchen when no one was watching. How she collected stray buttons because every button has a story. I told them about the day Sophia was born. How Elena whispered, "She's perfect." And how I cried so hard the nurse thought I was having a heart attack. Sophia listened. Quiet. Smiling through tears. When I finished, Lily patted my hand. "Grandma Elena is in heaven with Mr. Rabbit's grandma. They're having tea parties." I swallowed hard. "I bet they are." Marcus looked at me over Lily's head. "Thank you." He mouthed and I nodded. Sophia spoke thin, soft. "I have a story too. About a baby I lost. A long time ago." Lily tilted her head. "Was she pretty like me?" "Very. She would have been your cousin." Marcus reached over. Squeezed Sophia's shoulder gently. "You don't have to. I want to." She told them. Simple words. Honest. No shame. When she finished, Lily crawled into her lap. "You can borrow me sometimes. If you miss her." Sophia hugged her tight. "I will." "Thank you, Lily." We sat under the fairy lights until the air turned cold. Lily fell asleep against Sophia's chest. Marcus carried her inside. Sophia and I stayed on the blanket a while longer. "I'm going to therapy," she said quietly. "Starting next week. To talk about the baby. About Daniel. About us." "Good. And I'm going to call you every day. Even if it's just to say goodnight. Even better." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'm sorry it took so long. I'm glad it happened at all." Weeks turned to months. Sophia refinanced the house successfully. Daniel disappeared from her life. No more letters, no more photographs. Perhaps he'd run out of cruelty. Perhaps he'd finally felt the weight of his own choices. Marcus and I started a Saturday tradition. Pancakes at my house. Lily insisted on inviting Aunt Sophia every time. Soon it wasn't an invitation, it was. One Saturday in June, Sophia arrived early. She carried a small potted plant. "Yellow roses, for the backyard," she said. "In memory of the baby. And Elena. And new beginnings." We planted it together under the kitchen window. Lily helped water it. "Grow big and strong," she told the plant. "Like our family." Marcus watched from the porch, smiling. That Christmas we gathered again, at La Lumiere. Table 12. 5 chairs. Victor greeted us like old friends that we ordered the same things. Shared stories. Laughed. Cried a little. Lily wore the gold bracelet Sophia had given her, for when Aunt Sophia can't be here. Sophia wore Elena's wedding band on a chain around her neck that I wore the biggest smile I'd had in years. After dessert, Sophia stood. "I have something to say." We all looked up. "I used to think family was something you were born into. Something that could break and never fix right. I was wrong. Family is something you choose, every day. You choose to show up. To tell the truth. To forgive. To love, even when it hurts." She looked at each of us. "Thank you for choosing me. Even after everything." Marcus raised his glass. "To choosing." We clinked. Lily giggled. "And to more cake." Laughter filled the room. Later, outside in the cold night air, Sophia slipped her arm through mine. "Happy birthday, Dad," she whispered. A little late. I kissed the top of her head. Best one yet. We walked to the cars. Marcus carrying a sleepy Lily. Sophia holding my hand. Me holding all of it close. The past hadn't disappeared. The scars remained. Faint lines on skin and soul. But scars tell stories of survival. And ours was a story of return out of whispers that became promises out of tables denied, then reclaimed out of strangers who became family, of a daughter who found her way home, out of a father who never stopped waiting. Goodness doesn't disappear, it grows. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it grows all the way around, until the circle is whole again. Final emotional resonance if you've ever lost someone, or something, and thought the hole would never close. If you've ever hurt the people you love most, and wondered if forgiveness had an expiration date. If you've ever stood in a doorway, humiliated and alone, only to have a stranger offer a hand, know this. The light always finds a crack. Redemption isn't loud, that it's persistent, that it's quiet dinners, that it's honest conversations at midnight, that it's small bracelets passed down, that it's heart-shaped garlic bread, that it's choosing each other, again and again. And when it arrives, it feels like coming home. Thank you for walking this journey with me. That if any part of this story echoed in your own life, if a betrayal ever turned into healing, if a stranger's kindness ever saved a day, drop one word in the comments below. Healed. I read every single one. Your stories remind me why I keep telling mine. If this tale moved you, hit that like button so the algorithm knows hearts still need mending. Subscribe to Zaha Revenge, not just for the moments of justice, but for the moments of grace that come after. Turn on notifications. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't payback, it's choosing love anyway. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.